Hi everyone, welcome to this morning's Hangout, this afternoon's Hangout on the Joining Communications, Media and Technology practice. My name's Stanley and I work in our group marketing team, and I'll just let my colleagues introduce themselves.
My name's Martin Dutton. Been at Accenture for 4.5 years now. Since the start, worked on a couple of clients which we'll probably go into shortly.
Hi everyone, my name is Jen Thompson and I'm a manager within the CMT practice. So I've been with the firm for about 6.5 years. Worked across multiple projects and clients. So looking forward to getting started.
Great. In today's Hangout, Jennifer and Martin are just going to know basically of the CMT practice and give you an idea of what we do here and hopefully encourage you to want to join. To kind of get started, if we could first of all have just a brief overview of what CMT is, maybe if you could give a brief overview, Jennifer.
So CMT is an operating group within our technology growth platform. So CMT, the letters actually stand for Comms, Communications, Media and Technology. So we do a huge variety of work across clients within those areas. So it's very much industry aligned to communications clients, media clients, and also some high tech clients as well. I guess within the practice we do variety of work from small projects to bigger transformation projects, to sort of high value consulting and sort of business process operations, more of your management consulting type of work. So a lot of variety across those industry groups.
Cool. Do you have it?
Yeah, I think so. Just to elaborate a bit more, when people ask what we do day to day and who we work with, CMT is basically all the things that are around us day to day. So it's quite easy to explain to people outside the company what it is we do. So it's, you know, your phone companies, your TV companies, your internet providers, some social media clients. You know, it's those things in the news. So yeah, that's the kind of thing we're doing at the moment.
Cool. So yeah, it's nice stuff that you can sort of say this is what we've been working on almost. So I guess kind of following on from that overview, what sort of work do you actually do? I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but what is it you actually do on a day-to-day in CMT?
Well, I guess in terms of sort of bringing it to life a bit more, so Stanley, you mentioned the fact that obviously what is it that you do within those types of clients. So for example, one of the things that I did very early in my career was website work. So one of our, I'm not sure that I can mention the client name, but one of a very well-known mobile communications companies. I was working as a business analyst on their mobile upgrade website. So that was something that I did very early in my career, very tangible, something that I can still go on and see the work that I did. Yes, it's evolved since then, but essentially a lot of the logic and user experience design was something that I was pretty much defining with the business at the time. So that's one thing, I guess, the most tangible thing that I've done from a front end user perspective. I don't know about yourself, Martin.
Most of my experience has been more the back end stuff. Cool. So the stuff that as a customer to these clients you wouldn't actually see much of a difference, but we're actually enabling the client to upscale, offer the customers better service. So worked with some telecoms, so that's actually improving their, you know, your network speed, your ability to make calls, send more data, things like this. So things that benefit the customer, but you don't actually, it should be seamless for them. Currently doing the same with another telecoms client now. But I mean, other things within CMT, we've helped a lot of people go to market with in new areas. So where some, let's say, telco companies are trying to enter a new space away from your traditional just mobile communications. So there's a few of those we've done. And then also like analytics as well in some of the CMT space.
Sounds really cool. So you kind of, if you're doing your job right, then people won't know you've done anything at all.
Yeah.
They get the benefits of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of following on from that work side of things, actually the question we're asked a lot by potential applicants and candidates is, what's the culture like at Accenture? What's it like to work here? So how have you found it? What's really stood out for you during your time here?
It sounds cliche, biggest asset. And I used to think that sounded a bit strange when I joined, but actually it's become true, and I say this every time now. So I think it's the variety. We're all very different. We all have our different strengths. You know, we're all unique, but we're also the same kind of people as well. So you rarely see people that don't get along or have very conflicting views. If anything, we actually complement each other. So within the project, within the client, within the wider CMT, there's that collaboration, I think. And then, you know, that it's the people that bring us together. And then I think we'll go on to a few other points, maybe in a bit, but that's very important on the strengths.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I think it's the people. It's the same thing that I always say as well. I think it definitely, the other thing that I'd sort of add to that point is the level of responsibility that you get here at Accenture. And I do think that is, you know, I think it is higher than often you get at some of our, you know, competitors in similar roles. And I think coupled with that responsibility is obviously the support network that you have. We have, you know, internal collaboration tools. If you ask for help, you'll get the help more often than not. You know, if you ask, then you'll get the help. And certainly within CMT, we're sort of it's a big enough group to warrant sort of variety of work. But I think the good thing is you sort of still know everyone by name and by face. And then within that, you kind of have networks, which are smaller groups of people interested in similar things. Sort of, for as an example, we have sort of inclusion and diversity networks. So that's kind of passionate people who want to produce training or awareness or even just initiatives on multicultural events, well-being, enablement, disabilities, these sorts of things. So that's one example. You have lots of other little communities of practice, you know, people with shared interests will get together. So I think it's really a good place to sort of grow your career.
Yeah, I think just to finish that off as well, I think the good thing about it is you get the benefits of like a massive company. Sure. So the power, the knowledge, you know, the clients, the work you can do, but with all of the extra benefits, and it has a small company feel to it, even though we are so huge across the world. You're not just a number in this company. You know, you have, like I said, there's smaller societies, different communities, and so on. I think it's best of both.
Sure. And kind of touching on that, do you find it quite easy to tap into that sort of global expertise that we have? Is it something you find you can do quite readily, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much knowledge out there. I've been quite lucky in my projects. I've actually worked with people around the world, so in India, Italy, Poland, and I think that's where you really get to see how the breadth of our knowledge around the world. But that's all available as soon as you're in the company. That's all at your fingertips. We've got internal, you know, depositories where all the information is. There's support groups, you know, you can reach out, and as you build your network, there's people you know who to go to for particular things.
I think that's a really good point, because I think actually it can be challenging at times within such a big company, and even though we are a small community, relatively speaking, I think it can be difficult to put your finger on what you want. But it, as I said, you know, if you ask the right people, and it really is about having that network there. And if you ask the right people, you can get the support that you need. And there's the tools there as well, like the knowledge exchange that we have as an internal tool, which is kind of your fallback default option, which will give you what you need. Yeah.
And even if you ask someone something, if they don't know, it's very likely they'll know someone who does.
Exactly.
So back to our point about.
And also, I mean, if in terms of building that network, we do have a buddy scheme. So when we joined, we all had buddies to help us navigate that. So it's not something you're going to have instantly, but definitely it's something that's very easy to grow. Yeah.
It's really great to hear. And you touched on that a bit when you were talking about knowledge exchange and like working with the different people you can work with. So obviously you have an opportunity to work on a variety of different projects. What sorts of roles can people find themselves in?
I think you can speak.
No, go ahead.
I think that's another good thing is that we offer. So if you're looking at a project, we offer literally from start to finish. Yeah. For that project. So whether you're interested in, you know, the bid phase, doing the proposals, going into the companies and, you know, discussing what the project will be, how it's going to happen, or if you want to do, you know, the actual delivery of that, or if you want to do you know, the go live, it's literally from start to finish. So I myself, I like to be involved from across the whole time. And I like to go in, know what's going on, and be responsible for that.
Yeah.
Right through. Some people, they only like, you know, the early phase. Some people just like doing the development phase. Some people just want to do the design. So I think that's one of the other huge benefits, that if you're not happy with what Accenture has to offer, then I'm not sure where you would be, because like there's no area which you can't get into. Network, you know the clients, you know what's coming up, then everything's there for you to take away.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, to just go back to your specific question, Stanley, in terms of what types of roles specifically that we have within those projects. Within CMT, it's kind of, you have your consultant roles within CMT, which can be skill set specific. So, for instance, BSS, so Oracle based consultancy.
What's BSS?
You're going to put me on the spot. It's business
Support systems.
Support systems. Yeah, and then O is orchestration support systems. I think that needs to be checked. We're so used to using the acronyms, and that's another thing. Another whole story completely is the acronyms. But yeah, so you'll have your BSS, OSS, Oracle-based consultant, which is kind of a specific skill set. You might have SAP, which, don't ask me that one, but that's a well-known one in the industry. SAP consultants, and then we also have, you know, management consultant and general consulting roles, and as Martin says, you know, those, for example, you might have a designer role, so you might be in charge of a thing. You might be within the testing phase. You might be, you know, a test lead or a test manager, I suppose, overall delivery management. So we have the sort of skill sets, and then we have the phases of the life cycle, and so you can sort of pick and choose within that what suits you best, I guess.
I mean, even down to client interaction as well. Some people like to be on the front end, where there's a lot of back and forth with the client, early stages. Other people would rather just, you know, get the requirements later on and just do their job later on, like in the development or testing phase. So again, it's what suits you, really. Your way of working.
Yeah, I guess from our perspective, so probably, Martin, you're a bit more technical than me, whereas I'm not really, I've never been in massively technical roles. I've kind of come the more route through to project management, delivery management, whereas Martin, you've kind of come from the OSS background into sort of delivery management.
Yeah, so yeah, early years in, you know, more the technical detail, was now after a couple of years you kind of step away from that and get the end-to-end view that I was saying. Yeah. So
I think, yeah, there's something for everyone, and then you can go even less technical, I suppose, than sorts of roles that I've had, which are more process operations based within management consultants.
I mean, you kind of touched on this a bit already, but I guess there's obviously a lot of opportunities. So what does a typical career path look like for someone joining CMT? What would you say? I mean, you guys have been here for, correct me if I'm wrong, quite a few years now. Yeah. So what for you does a typical career path look like, and what would you kind of expect? It's a tough question.
We could take the easy way out and say vary again.
Yeah.
And it really does vary. But I think typically, normally if you're coming in as an experienced hire to CMT, you'll normally be expected to have 3 years experience. Elsewhere, and then I would say you will go into your skill set. Take, for example, if that is a sort of a functional designer role, or something within the design phase. You might first of all sort of take ownership of a design, and then see that right through to the testing phase. You might then have a sort of a step up and become sort of an overall test lead for that particular functional area. And then you might progress from there onto more of a delivery management within that functional space. But as I said, it can vary. I would say when you first come in, if you've got a specific skill set, certainly your role would be matched to that skill set. And then you'll obviously progress on from there.
Yeah, I mean, the choice is over to the individual. If they want to stay in that area, build that further, or get the variety that we discussed. I mean, both options.
Cool. So it sounds, obviously you've got a lot of opportunities to kind of make it your way almost. So maybe that kind of plays into this. But you've, as I said, you've been here for some years now. What's kept you driven and made you want to keep progressing in in that role?
I think, as I said, I've been on 2 major projects. I think the important thing is obviously we work very hard, but you get rewarded for that. And there's a lot of other things in place, to help you with your day-to-day work. So when you are on different big clients where there's a big community feel, go back to that again, where there's a lot set up to help you do your day job and to look after you outside that as well. So a lot of organised sports, organised events, support networks, everything's there basically to help you do your job better. And I think that's part of what it is really. So there are tough times in this kind of industry, but we're in a good place to actually do our jobs well. So for me, that's been what's helped a lot.
Interesting.
I think it's often there's a number of variables within your career that you can change at any one time. And for me, I've kind of spent a lot of my career at one client, which some might say sort of isn't the true consulting lifestyle. But what that's enabled me to do is hugely vary the roles that I've done. So I now have built up experience cycle of the project. And by limiting my sort of client stakeholders, enabled to sort of succeed in each new role or phase. So I think certainly that ability to get that breadth of experience has kept me driven and motivated, but also then opportunity to change and apply that experience elsewhere, and sort of flip it and do some variety of work now that I sort of want to apply that. So I think, that, and also the events, they're so good,
Yeah.
Our last event was at the Science Museum, so that was really good. We had, lots of different coloured cocktails, and when we put on an event, it's definitely worth sticking around for. Is all I will say.
And there's a good cross-section of events, CMT-wide, where you meet people from all different projects and clients, and there's client-wide ones where you meet the project just within that client. So there's different events for all the different levels as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you just stick with your own team or own projects. It's a big cross-section. And that's definitely one of the highlights.
I think covered off most things. I guess kind of my last takeaway, which is probably something people would like to hear, is what, for someone thinking about joining CMT, what would you say is one piece of advice you would give them, one kind of top tip for people who are thinking of joining CMT?
Before applying or after applying? Or after?
Let's go before applying. Before applying.
Tough one.
It's a tough one.
You didn't warn us.
Oh, this one. This is a truly
okay.
one.
Before applying, I think try and get lots and lots and lots of rest in, because you're going to need all your energy. I don't know, because I think if you're after an easy ride, Accenture isn't the place for you.
Sure.
If you're after something where you're going to be challenged, you're going to be stretched, you're going to get out what you put in, then it's the place for you.
Yeah.
And I guess just enjoy it is the biggest tip. And if you ever stop enjoying it, don't just keep going. I think is the one thing is my top tip there. So when they first come in, I think you enjoy it, but be aware of what you want, because Accenture's a big place, and you really need to know what you want to navigate it properly.
Yeah, and it sounds like you have opportunities.
Opportunities galore, but often that can be daunting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say the tip would have been to work out exactly what it is that you want to do and what you're good at as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just end up getting into that path, not enjoying it, not doing a good job as well. Something I always tell people now is, it's better to speak up and fix that than to just carry on. It's better for you, better for the company. And
I think it's really good advice. I'm glad I sprung that on you, because I think that's really great.
Yeah,
advice.
that's a good question.
It's not always easy to know.
Exactly. So thanks so much for answering those questions for us, and thank you very much for anyone who's joining us. That's been our CMT Hangout. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time.
Thanks.
Thanks.